Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street School. Is about to give y'all a day 2 draft review. I'm gonna review all 3 picks in one video. I feel like it's just best that way to consolidate everything. I'm already gonna do film sessions on all these guys, so those will all be separate. For this one, I just want to do a day 2 review overall. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate to be that guy, but after actually going back and watching some more film on all of these guys and doing further research into like certain advanced statistics and things like that and their athletic profiles and their RAS scores, I'm starting to warm up to every pick, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I hate to be that guy, and I'm gonna break down exactly why all of these guys have so much potential. Let's get it. Starting with our second overall pick, 51st overall, we took offensive tackle Samuel Cosmi, and plain and simple, athletic freak. 9.99 RAS out of 10. Literally the second out of 1,143 offensive tackles drafted since 1987. He's an even bigger athletic freak than Trent Williams. Again, literally the second most athletic tackle ever drafted into the NFL since 1987. Elite speed, elite agility, great explosion. The only thing you may have to worry about slightly may be height and weight and length. But they're still good, they're just not elite or great. Again, most athletic tackle drafted into the NFL since 1987. Second most athletic tackle drafted into the NFL since 1987. That's all you need to hear. So this is clearly a high upside developmental project type of guy. I went back and watched more of his tape. I don't love it, I'm not gonna lie. But the upside here is ridiculous, and with us having so much depth at offensive line now, including Cosmi, and with Cornelius Lucas at least being a solid starter, a mid-tier one. Again, like I said in my previous video before I live streamed tonight, Cornelius Lucas is closer to Trent Williams than the worst left tackle in the NFL. He's not Trent Williams at all, but he's definitely in the middle of the pack, higher than what a lot of people give him credit for, especially when healthy. So like, when in doubt, Cornelius Lucas can start a left tackle, but Samuel Cosmi is our developmental guy. And he comes with experience too. He's a 3-year starter, and he improved every season. Comes with a lot of experience, and I feel like with the coaching that we have, he can turn into a star. Again, I'm gonna keep saying this. Second most athletic offensive tackle drafted since 1987. I mean, the potential is ridiculous and immense. This is not the Jerron Christian pick. Remember, we were talking about his athletic profile and him being a high potential, high ceiling type of guy, but he was never strong. He was never strong. He was never that mobile. He was more mobile than a lot of tackles, but he wasn't Samuel Cosmi mobile. But most importantly, Jerron Christian struggled due to strength. That was his primary problem. That was like 60% of it alone. And Samuel Cosmi is ridiculously strong. I mean, literally the 9.9 percentile in strength out of 10. 36 bench reps. Trent Williams only benched 20 something, like 22 or something, in the low 20s. I mean, that's a crazy difference in strength alone. I mean, the man is 6'6", 314 pounds, and ran a 4.85. Like, what kind of stuff is that? Even if you want him to play at guard, which is possible, he can pull with that type of grace and mobility and footwork and speed. There's even one play where he caught a receiving touchdown, and no, he did not just catch the ball in the touchdown. No, it was a screen play, and he had to run it in himself. He caught the ball like 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then had to run like 5 or a little more than that yards after the line of scrimmage. That's how mobile and graceful he is. Screenplay to an offensive tackle. Come on now. But I mean, it's kind of weird because along with that versatility, we just have so many guys that can play guard. I mean, you have Keith Ishmael, who's technically the backup center, but can also play guard. Brandon Sheriff, Wes Schweitzer, Eric Flowers, Sadiq Charles is halfway guard, half tackle. We just have so many guards, so it's so weird. But at the end of the day, I think Samuel Cosmi has a lot of upside at tackle. Not guaranteeing that he will be a great tackle, but you have room and freedom and flexibility to make picks like this when you don't really have any major holes left on your team. developmental, high ceiling guys. That's the theme of this whole draft. We don't have any major holes left, so why not go for the guy with the most potential? And you pay your coaches millions of dollars a year to get the best out of players. We've seen that this team can already do that with how they got the best out of J.D. McKissick, the best out of Cornelius Lucas, the best out of Wes Schweitzer, the best out of Logan Thomas, the best out of Ronald Darby, greatness out of Antonio Gibson, greatness out of Terry McLaurin, even though I feel like he was destined for greatness anyway. Like, we develop guys. We make guys play at their best. And I love that. This coaching staff can take high potential guys that are potential busts and turn them into gems. We've shown we can do it. Cameron Curl, come on now. Cole Holcomb, there's so many guys. And it's really interesting too, because Ron Rivera said that he will put Cosmi at left tackle to see how it goes. But he said he's going to see how it goes. He's not sure about it, but he at least wants to give him the chance to compete. And Samuel Cosmi also said that he feels comfortable at left and right tackle. He played both at Texas, so that's going to be an interesting development to keep track of. And then 74th overall, our first pick in the third round, we took Benjamin St-Juste, cornerback from Minnesota. And I honestly project him to end up being like a free safety type of guy, versatile guy. You would think with his build, like being 6'3", long, you would think he's better at press man, but from his tape, some of his best work was in the zone. And that's why, especially with his athletic profile being mostly catered to his size and his agility, and hopefully if we can get better explosion and acceleration out of him, I project him to be a free safety development project. Not a great RAS, but I feel like he plays a little bit more athletic than his RAS says. He's a very fluid, smooth, change of direction, agile type of guy. And I feel like he's a little bit faster and more explosive than his RAS reading is saying he is. But again, a developmental guy. We can afford to take guys like this because this defense is so great around these pieces that we just drafted. We had a number 3 defense statistically last year, and that was before we added William Jackson, a top 5 man cover corner. We lost Darby and Kevin Pierre-Louis, but William Jackson more than makes up for that. And so this defense is already great. That's why you can take a chance on a Jamin Davis. That's why you can take a chance on a Benjamin, because you don't even have to worry about whether he can contribute day one or not. When in doubt, we have guys that are ready to go day one, and then you have Benjamin, Jamin Davis as developmental projects potential. I feel like Jamin Davis is starting week 1, period. I mean, his athleticism and potential are limitless, but he has a certain floor to him that I could easily see him starting at Mike or Sam day 1. But Benjamin, on the other hand, is going to be a developmental guy that may see the field early, sparingly, but overall, I'm not expecting him to play a real prominent role until later into this season at best, probably. Still pretty raw, but his tape doesn't make me very excited, honestly. But some of his advanced statistics do. First of all, his 21% forced incompletion rate was 3rd amongst 2021 draft eligible corners. He only played 5 games in 2020, but this is based on his 2019. So if you base what he did in 2019 and compare it to what every draft eligible corner did in 2020, he forced the 3rd most incompletions out of this entire draft class. So he's ready to make a play on the ball. That comes from his agility and his length right there. He's ready to make plays, and you can see the ball skills right there, or at least the ability to bat the ball down and make sure receivers don't come down with it. He wins his contested catch battles. Like, he's literally one of the longest corners in this entire class. He has great change of direction skills, and we're just banking on his potential, honestly. Again, this defense is built to where we don't need Benjamin to immediately contribute, but the potential is there. And if I'm Jamin Davis, if I'm St-Juste, or any one of these other defensive players that we may end up getting in this draft, I feel like Washington is the ideal situation. You're playing behind this defensive line alongside these other good corners, Cameron Curl, Landon Collins. You just have to play your part. You're not being asked to carry the team. And Jamin Davis is going to be strong competition and probably even the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year because of his current situation. He'll be kept clean. He's probably going to get at least 100 tackles, probably some picks, might even get blitzed to get a couple of sacks. I mean, I'm expecting great stats out of him. Darius Leonard comp for me, honestly. But the same thing applies to St-Juste, where he just has to come in, not contribute immediately, take his time and develop, and the team around him is great. So all he has to do is just learn to play the exact role that Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera ask of him. Whether that be in zone as an outside corner or as a rangy, deep, single high free safety, which he can very well project to be. I definitely see him competing and developing as one of our potential free safeties of the future. Again, I don't expect them to be there early, especially like during training camp or week 1. But I feel like at some point in this season, he may become that rangy free safety we've been wanting. A lot of single high potential based on his tape. Also, I like the fact that he's willing to make plays in the run game. You know, people usually 6'3" and long don't mentally want to contribute in the run game like he does. Like, he's very aggressive and is ready to come up and make the tough plays that needs to be done. He's willing to get his hands dirty, like a lot of the guys on this team already. And Ron Rivera and company loved that. But one thing though, if you think about it, we literally traded Trent Williams for Keith Ishmael, backup center. We took him last year, and Benjamin St-Juste round 3 this year. If you think about it, we got that 5th round pick in 2020, that 3rd round pick in 2021. We literally traded Trent Williams for Keith Ishmael and Benjamin St-Juste. Blame Bruce Allen. That's not on Rivera and company at all. That is not their fault. They did what they had to do. They had to recruit whatever value they could get after Bruce Allen diminished it dramatically. But that's a really interesting thought to keep track of. Hopefully St-Juste makes us forget that Trent Williams trade ever happened. Now we move on to Dyami Brown, 6'1", 195 pounds, from North Carolina. And when we first got him, I was a little iffy on it, but I'm gonna break down why y'all should be excited about Dyami Brown. First of all, now our wide receiver group is Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries, Dyami Brown, Cam Sims, Kelvin Harmon, Antonio Gandy-Golden, Steven Sims, and Isaiah Wright. I'm projecting maybe only 6 of them make it. So 3 of these guys that I just named won't make it. I feel like Steven Sims, Isaiah Wright, maybe Cam Sims, or Antonio Gandy-Golden are 3 of the 4 that are on the outside looking in. It's ugly for him. I'm not gonna lie. Kelvin Harmon, if he can't get back healthy, may even be in an ugly situation. But this receiving core is pretty deep. Is it one of the best? We'll see, especially while these guys are so young. But there's definitely a lot of potential in this receiving core, a lot more potential than what we had last season, or really any season since Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. And Dyami Brown, who was taken 82nd overall in the 3rd round with our 3rd round pick, doesn't have a very high RAS score, but I went and looked at his tape deeper. He plays faster and quicker and more explosive than his RAS score says. Because it says that he only has good explosion, only good speed, and okay agility. He plays better than that on tape, I'm not gonna lie. Before the pick, I only watched a little bit of tape and I wasn't in love with him. But again, after some of these advanced statistics that I'm going to talk to y'all about, and looking at his tape even deeper right before I made this video after the live stream, again, I feel like his RAS does not reflect how dynamic of a playmaker he actually is. But his statistics do. And I mean, with him being 6'1", he's not adding that crazy size that we were potentially trying to get in an N'Keal Harry in a trade. Or maybe we still draft a big possession, 3rd down, chain mover, red zone threat receiver later in the draft. Who knows? But right now, it's one of the fastest receiving cores in the league. And I love some of the quotes he's had since we drafted him. He said, "A whole lot of my game hasn't been shown over the past few years just because of how our offense was at North Carolina." So basically, he's saying North Carolina held him back and didn't allow him to showcase his entire skill set and talents. He believes that he's an all-around wide receiver and can't wait to showcase his skill set in Washington. Also, Dyami Brown had 1,099 receiving yards, which led the ACC, and he ranked 9th nationally, averaging over 20 yards per catch. Man, I'm telling you. Shouts out to Cade for that stat right there. Also, he is one of the best deep ball threats in college football. The reason I was pushing back against this in the beginning was just because Elijah Moore and those guys are just ridiculous speed. Anthony Schwartz, they're a different level of speed, but Dyami Brown has gone out there and proven it. The production speaks on itself. He is one of the best deep threats in this class based off of just production. If we're just talking about pure traits, yeah, again, Elijah Moore, Anthony Schwartz, all of those guys, Kadarius Toney are more explosive and faster and shiftier, But Dyami Brown gets the job done either way. And he has underrated speed, again, that his RAS score does not show. He just didn't test well. He plays faster on the field than his RAS scores indicate. I mean, last year he had 12 catches of over 20 yards, an average depth of target of 18.7 and 3.11 yards per route run. That's crazy. That's crazy stats right there. That's top notch. He had 10 catches of 50 plus yards since 2019, and that was first in all of college football. Like, he's statistically the best deep threat in this draft, period. Also, Dyami Brown on go route since 2019, 15 receptions, tied for first, 606 yards, first, and 8 touchdowns, tied for first. I mean, yo, the production is there. Again, just based on traits, he doesn't seem like he's that diddly of a deep threat, but the tape is there, the production is there, the box score statistics and the advanced statistics all state that he's one of the best, if not the best, deep threats in this draft. And I admit that I didn't know that at first. Based on the little bit of tape I watched before I went and did a deep dive for this video, I didn't think he was that top notch. But he is. He really is. And even better, one of my favorite parts of his game, he has never dropped a contested catch in his career at University of North Carolina. Contested catches specifically. He's dropped a couple of passes, but as far as contested catches, it brings out the best of him. He literally has had a D-hop 2 years ago like season, but over his entire career for UNC. No drop contested catches, 49 contested targets. 49 contested targets, no drop catches. I'm re-emphasizing it, I'm repeating it because that is spectacular and that is very rare. That just does not come up. His hands are elite because of that. And you know how much Ryan Fitzpatrick is gonna love that? Even though he can't necessarily separate right now, he can still make a play. 6'1", he plays even bigger than his size. He plays faster than his testing. He's an all-around receiver, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Again, he's the perfect fit for Fitz, for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who loves to just throw it up there. I mean, he'll literally just slang the ball and just hope somebody comes down with it. And Dyami Brown is the perfect receiver for that. Again, 49 contested catch targets in his UNC career, didn't drop a single one. Also, one big thing. This is my favorite thing about him. There's a play going around Twitter right now where he's going against first-round corner AJ Terrell, Westlake alumni, you know what I'm saying, Cam Newton, Adam Pac-Man Jones. You know, we do what we can. But he's a first-round corner for the Falcons. Dyami Brown, pre-snap, telegraphs to the quarterback, hey, just look at me. I got him. It's one-on-one man coverage. I'm about to go get him. Look at me. Don't even look at the rest of the field. This guy right here in front of me is food. Give me the ball. I mean, he literally waves to the quarterback before the ball is even hiked at all. Nobody's running routes yet or nothing. The play hasn't even started. Pre-snap, he's like, oh yeah, this guy's food. Give me the ball. And then he goes and beats him for a touchdown. Like, come on, bro. Like, what kind of... I love that attitude. He might be the type of arrogance and attitude and trash talking that I've been wanting all along. I feel like J.C. Horn was the best representation of that at the corner position. Dyami Brown might be the best of that at the receiver position out of this entire draft class. And that's what everybody should have led with, trying to sell this guy to me. You should have led with that. Y'all should know I love the biggest, arrogant, trash-talking, most confident. I grew up loving Chad Ochocinco. He was one of my favorite players growing up, mostly for that reason. I mean, he was great on the field as well, but me as like an 8-year-old kid, Chad Johnson was everything. I love that type of trash talk. If I were in the NFL, I would be that type of guy. I would be just like Dyami Brown pre-snap. Oh yeah, this corner, food. Throw me the ball. Don't even look at the rest of the field. He's mine. And then go and get a touchdown. That's the type of personality I love. That's the type of personality that feeds this team energy. Imagine if he did that in the NFL game, how hyped Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, Jonathan Allen, all of them would be. Just imagine how hyped this team would be. What kind of energy that would put into the team. And how hype and ready they would be to knock some heads off, to bump pads with people. That's the type of energy that I love, man. We really haven't had that since Pierre Garçon. I've missed that. For real, for real. Another thing too with his confidence, I love the confidence. The contested catches is second. His versatility is third. His confidence, his arrogance, his attitude is the main thing. It's number one easily. He said after we drafted him that the speed of the Washington receivers can compete with the Chiefs and maybe even be better. I love the excitement. I love the confidence, man. Big time. Now I want to talk about some comparisons that guys are giving them throughout just the entire NFL. This has nothing to do with burgundy and gold. None of these sources are burgundy and gold. Like starting with Greg Zuerlein, and I'm starting with the bad first. He compared them to Paul Richardson. Nobody from Burgundy and Gold Nation wants to hear that, man. Nobody wants to hear that in general, especially somebody from us, bro. We already had the Paul Richardson experience. No, thank you. But Daniel Jeremiah said that he can literally be Terry McLaurin. He said that basically Terry McLaurin came out of the draft basically just as raw as Dyami Brown as far as route running and things like that. The biggest difference though is that Terry McLaurin is easily faster. Like Terry McLaurin's elite speed, Dyami Brown is like great speed, but he's not Terry McLaurin. He's not William Jackson, not Curtis Samuel. They're like a whole nother echelon. They're in the 4.3s. Dyami Brown is in the 4.4s, mid 4.4s. But that's interesting that Daniel Jeremiah compared exactly how raw he is and how much potential he is to be a great all-around receiver, especially after he picks up some route running just like Terry McLaurin did once he got to the NFL level. Then DP Brugler said that Dyami Brown isn't as reliable yet as Stephon Diggs, but he has similar size, speed, and fluid adjustment skills. He projects as a starting level NFL receiver with the big playability to rack up touchdowns. And I mean, if you compare somebody to Terry McLaurin, that also means you do compare them to Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs is probably the closest player you can compare Terry to, and vice versa. Like, they're the closest in makeup. There's not really anybody else you can compare Stephon Diggs to Terry McLaurin to. So if Daniel Jeremiah is comparing them to Terry McLaurin and DP Brugler is comparing them to Stephon Diggs, then there may be something to that. And then you have Chris Sims that said that this was his number 3 receiver in the class. I'm not exactly sure who his 1 and 2 were, and does that mean that he's above Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle or Rashad Bateman or more than one of those guys? He has him as his number 3 receiver in the class, and he said that we got an absolute steal, round 1 talent in round 3. That's from Chris Sims. Then Pro Football Focus said that this was one of the biggest steals of the draft, and then they had like a whole video talking about why. Mel Kiper said this guy should have possibly even gone late round 1, and the fact that we got him in round 3 was a steal. Matt Miller said another great pick for Washington. Dyami Brown was a round 2 receiver. He's capable of being Deebo Samuel type receiver, very good yak ability, 4 picks, 4 home runs. So he loves all of our picks. He basically thinks that we had an A+ draft. And Matt Miller is right about a lot of things. Chris Sims is right about a lot of other things. Mel Kiper's like the only person who called Cameron Curl and thought that he would be a huge sleeper in the draft before we even drafted him, and then look what Cameron Curl turned into. So these are guys that aren't always right, but I hope they're right now. And this pick adds to what the theme of this draft has been: position flexibility. Jamin Davis, Sam, Mike, Will linebacker, even like a sub package type of slot corner if you need him to. Samuel Cosmi can play either tackle and maybe even either guard. St-Juste, we literally don't know if he is going to be a corner or a safety, and the fact that he has the potential to play both is exciting. And then you have Dyami Brown, who can literally be the X, Y, or Z and even make plays out of the backfield with his yards after catch ability. Athleticism is another thing. We had probably the most athletic draft out of the entire NFL. Jamin Davis is the most athletic linebacker in this draft. One of the 15th most athletic linebackers drafted since 1987. Cosmi is the second most athletic offensive tackle drafted since 1987. St-Juste, RAS doesn't show it, but on tape, he's a versatile 6'3", very long, athletic guy. And Dyami Brown, again being compared to Stephon Diggs and Terry McLaurin, and one of the best deep threats in college football over the past couple of years. Statistically, the best deep threat in college the past couple of years. You gotta be some type of athletic and explosive to pull that off. I feel like he just simply didn't test well. And then last, they went for high character. Clearly they went for high character. Everybody here interviewed very well, and not just with the burgundy and gold, but with multiple teams. A lot of these guys are ex-captains from their team, leaders. The Terry McLaurins, where like they're willing to get their hands dirty and play special teams if they have to. I mean, we got dogs, we got leaders, we got great work ethic, we got people that know how to carry themselves, we got people that are first one in, last one out to put in work and film study, all of that type of stuff. We drafted straight high characters so far. Guys that are gonna work their tails off to be the best that they can be and do whatever it takes. And Matt Miller, like I said earlier, loves our draft. I mean, he literally tweeted, Washington is having an exceptional draft. And like I said earlier, he said 4 picks, 4 home runs. So Matt Miller loves our draft. PFF Steve said absolutely love what Washington is doing from free agency through the draft. And then I've been seeing people generally give like Jamin Davis somewhere around a high B, like a B plus, maybe A minus. I've been seeing Samuel Cosmi somewhere in the A's, like an A minus. I've been seeing Benjamin St-Juste in like the C's, low B's. And I've been seeing Dyami Brown as a unanimous A plus across the board for everybody I've seen give us grades so far. And then also PFF tweeted, teams with the best roster overhauls in the last 3 years: Dolphins, Browns, Washington football team, and Bills. So that's great company to be in. All of us are teams on the rise. We're the only one that doesn't have our franchise quarterback yet. Well, you can argue maybe the Dolphins will too, we'll see. But the Bills and the Browns definitely have their franchise guys. We got to get ours, period. But this is a great setup draft for a quarterback to come into. And my last point about this is the fact that we had so many opportunities to get Tommy Tremble. And they were clearly very interested in Tommy Tremble. They met with him virtually, I believe, like 8 times. That's probably like the most out of any player in this entire draft class as far as just how many times they virtually met with them. So there was clear, strong interest, and they had plenty of times to get him, especially in the 3rd round. They could have gotten him 74th overall and 82nd. They could have got him either one. So I'm assuming with us not feeling like tight end is such a major need, or maybe they just felt like St-Juste and Dyami Brown were just too great to pass up, but they must not think tight end is a huge need, which to me says that Samus Reyes is further along in his development and will probably be able to contribute day one, unlike what most of us think. For me, Samus Reyes has to prove 3 things for me to know that he can be a quality tight end. And honestly, I think he's either going to be great or bad. I don't really see a middle, because once he's able to do the 3 things I'm talking about, the athleticism, the freakish athleticism, the untapped potential will handle the rest. And so I either see him being great or bad, because it's all going to depend on these 3 things. First of all, can he take a hit? That's huge. That's like the majority of it. Like, that's literally 60% by itself. Can he take hits? Can he consistently bump against people, take hits? And that's not even just in the passing game, that's also blocking. Can he get in the trenches and maul with people, brawl with people, wrestle, all of that? Can he do that consistently and mentally want to get up and continue doing it the next day, the next week, the next year? Number 2, his blocking technique, his athleticism, his ridiculous strength. He bench pressed more than Gronk, more than Travis Kelce, more than Trent Williams. Like, he's ridiculously strong. So if he's able to get the technique down, he's going to be a dominant blocker. Like, the athleticism and the strength is all there. Just got to get his footwork and his hand placement down. And number 3, can he catch? With all of that athleticism, even if he learns to run routes, it won't matter if he can't catch. I mean, at the end of the day, even if he's a great inline blocking tight end, that's straight. But we remember how frustrated we were with Logan Thomas earlier in the season before he started to become a more dependable catcher and being able to haul in most of the passes thrown towards him. I do not want Samus Reyes looking like early season Logan Thomas as far as hands go. So we'll see. Again, the fact that we didn't take Tommy Tremble when we had plenty of opportunities, Brevin Jordan, all of these guys, shows that they truly believe in Samus Reyes. Because I doubt it's Marcus Ball. They said Marcus Ball in the practice squad for Tamarick Hemingway at some point during the season. Tamarick Hemingway was bad and they brought Marcus Ball back up, but even then, they didn't use him much. But yeah, man, definitely get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about these 3 picks we just made today. Well, yesterday. Definitely get in the comment section and let me know which guys you wanted that we ended up missing out on. Y'all already know my guys. Tommy Tremble. Well, Jabril Cox is still available. Quinn Miners, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Ifitu Melifonwu, Richie Grant, Trevon Merrick, Javon Holland. I lost a lot of guys I really wanted today, man. But again, I'm a GM at heart, so I'm going to keep watching them all the way at the NFL level, even if they're not on our teams. I don't care. Those are my guys. I want to see how they end up developing. So I'm going to be watching a lot of games from those other teams, especially the quarterbacks. Justin Fields and Trey Lance, I'm watching every game. Those are my guys, man. I got to. But definitely get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about the picks we made and the guys we missed out on. Definitely like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release an informative and opinionated video like this one. I'll be live streaming for the draft tomorrow as well. well, I guess later on today, technically, rounds 4 and 5 up to our 5th round pick. After our 5th round pick, I'm gonna dip out. I'll give like an analysis on the pick, and then I'm dipping out, and then I'll be working on a lot of film sessions and stuff. I'm gonna get film sessions out for every one of our draft picks, and maybe even some undrafted free agents as we get there, if I have enough time and if they're good enough and worth the film session. These film sessions will lead all the way up to training camp though, so it's not like I'm about to hit y'all back to back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with film sessions. It's gonna take a lot of work. I'm gonna really dive into this film and try to show y'all how I project them to play within the confines of our team, whether it be offense or defense. And also I want to show their pros and cons, their weaknesses and strengths for each prospect. So y'all already know how that goes, so stay tuned for all of that. The live streams will not stop, the videos will not stop. Stay tuned for all of that. And man, big shouts out to everybody that pulled up to the live streams, man, especially today, the day 2 and rounds 2 and 3. That one was a great live stream. A lot of debates, a lot of activity, a lot of passion. It was really fun. Shouts out to everybody that left a like. Shouts out to everybody that shared it for other people to join in. Huge shouts out to everybody that donates, man. Y'all really don't understand how much I appreciate it. Huge shouts out to all of my sponsors. Shouts out to all of the new members, and big shouts out to all of the Pro Bowl sponsors whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now, and also our only All Pro sponsor, man. Shouts out to all of them, man. I really appreciate it. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.